good at chairs. Cheers.
Come sit with us. Let's talk about yoga.
It is for everybody.
Whatever's going to keep bringing you back to the mat. A little bit of philosophy. Talk about poses. We do a lot of laughs. We drink a little.
We're just real and authentic. Come as you are.
Real authentic yogis that want to talk to everybody.
Everybody.
Come sit with us as we talk about yoga. All right. So, human touch. Let's talk about it.
Yes. And you know what? As soon as you said it, it made me think someone did ask us to talk about like partner yoga. And I feel like this kind of goes in with it.
Yeah.
Because the touch. And they even mentioned like the connection between.
And supporting, So when you talk about like physical assist, right? So I'll just back up. I'll kind of tell my story for a minute. You've heard it before. But if you've been taking yoga with me for a long time, when I first started, I've never stopped loving assisting. But I did a lot of it when I first started teaching. And then the pandemic hit. And it
Topic
changed.
of the day.
Yeah. We've been talking about the pandemic all day. But it changed things, right? I was no longer teaching in person. I had to start teaching online for a little while. And then when the first wave kind of started dying down, I opened the official studio in White Oak. So that was in September of 2020. And so first wave had kind of started dying down. And I was like, okay, it's safe now. It's going to be fine. And then Delta hit, the second big wave hit. And I didn't have to shut down for that. And I was grateful. But there was very much a change. There was a shift in yoga classes of people were staying very far apart from each other. They would get very nervous when you walked by them. You could feel it. You could see it. You could feel it. And I'm not saying that was everyone, but I'd say a lot of people were that way. And so I internalized that. And at the time, I think I needed to, that, okay, I'm going to stay hands off. People don't want to be touched right now. They feel very unsafe. Everything feels scary. I get it. And then all of that went away. All of that died down. And somewhere along the way, I kept that internal dialogue with myself of people don't want me to touch them. And that went on for a while. For years afterwards. And it really wasn't until I was talking to one of my instructors about how I used to do a lot of hands-on assist and I give very few now. I've never stopped doing them completely, but I didn't give near as many as I used to. And they were asking questions about why, and I really couldn't answer until we started talking about timelines. And I really figured out the pandemic is where that really shifted for me. And I really had convinced myself people don't want me to touch them, so I will leave them alone. And unless I knew you very well and you were coming to my class, I didn't touch you at all. And then teacher training came around. And I knew I wanted to teach hands-on assisting because I love it. And I think it's so important in yoga class. And if you decide you don't want that, that's okay too. But there are so many people, I believe, that are just craved and starved for human touch. It's not a sexual thing. It's the opposite of that.
It literally.
And so I think, as adults, right, other than your spouse or your kids, like we were talking about, then the only type of touch that you ever get outside of that is unwanted, I think, because it is a sexualized thing and we're not looking for that. And so to come into a space like this where you're being very vulnerable, you're being very open, and to have someone come and be supportive and loving and just be in it with you, I think as humans we are starved for that type of touch. And it's not something we experience very often in the outside world. Maybe a hug from a friend, from time to time. And so I've been really working on letting that dialogue go. And I've even said that to people, I'm claiming my story. When I'm telling people I'm doing hands-on assisting again, and I'm giving people the option to opt out if they don't want them, and telling me somewhere along the way, I convinced myself, it's not on you, it's on me. I convinced myself that you don't want this. So now I'm giving the power back to you to decide for yourself. Do you want to be supported? Do you want physical touch throughout your practice? And I always give that option to not have it too,
right.
with new people. Other than you don't get a choice. I'm just going to touch you anyway.
And I appreciate that because it's kind of, I did not grow up with a lot of affection.
Yeah.
That physical touch. I did not grow up with a lot of, exactly. And kind of whenever I got older, I put myself in situations, I can say that now, but I put myself in these situations where there was a lot of unwanted, not affection, but physical touch, you know, and it definitely already coming from somewhere where I didn't have that. I didn't really know what affection was, you know, and then having the unwanted, you know, physical touch, it kind of turned me off of people touching me. Yeah. I don't want you to hug me. Yeah. I don't want, it's not even that I don't want it. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. But the more and more, I don't even hug my sister. I love her so much, but, you know, we don't really, sometimes me and my dad will like side hug, you know, me and my mom, we've gotten better, like, you know, because I've gotten more comfortable, but it's just never really been my my significant other. That would be the only person that I ever, I guess, felt safe with, which is crazy. I just kind of, I guess you could say trauma from past. I only felt safe with my significant other.
Well, I also think there's something to be said for that because with your partner, all types of touches is okay.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like you let your guard down because if it was to become something else, that's okay too. So that's what I mean by I think we are starved for it because especially as women, I'm not a man. I've never been a man, so I can't speak for a man.
Not real sure.
But as a female, as a woman in the world, when you are out in public or whatever, if you have someone that's getting very close to you or coming into my space, I heard it the other day and it really resonated with me because we live in a society that like it's so sexualized. Mm-hmm. Everything is sexualized. And so if you have someone coming into your space, women tend to just retreat further and further into themselves to protect themselves from any type of touch whatsoever. Yeah. And so I think that's why we're so starved for a touch that we feel safe with, mm-hmm. that feels comfortable, that you know is not going to lead to something that makes you uncomfortable.
And there's no negative intent behind it. I think that is, for me, that's the key. Because this is, in this space, is probably the most I've ever been touched. Mm-hmm. And outside of my significant other.
Teacher training weekend probably blew your mind, man.
It was, and I even remember telling everyone in there, and I've talked to a friend about this, and because they've noticed how hugs make me uncomfortable. And I was like, they do, however, I am aware that I want it. I love the hug, it's just a little foreign, you know? So please, you know, I'm giving you permission to hug me.
You don't pull away from me anymore.
And it's still in the process. But that's what I love so much about having the option in a yoga class is where are you today? You know, because every day is different. But, you know, are you open to having this affection?
Yeah.
And here, that's what it is. Yeah. It's affection. It is a supportive, you know, encouraging touch. Yeah. No ill intent. And I think that's because there is a lot of ill intent in this world. And as females, and I know men have got to experience this too. I mean, there's no way that it's only women, you know, but I
think it's just, it's different. I think it's internalized differently too.
Perceived.
I mean, if you just compared like me and my husband, he's a big guy. He's a tall man. He's a lot bigger than I am. So if something was to happen out there, I don't think he's near as scared that he couldn't fight it off as me. You know, I don't think that people would as readily approach someone of his size versus mine.
Right.
There just is a difference there being a man versus a woman. I'm not saying that men do not receive unwanted touches or anything like that. Just that I think the way we internalize it or react and respond to it is different.
Well,
because we are completely different beings.
We think
we think different.
Thought process is a little differently.
And, when you go into, assisting in yoga, there's really two types of assist, and I love them both. And judging on where you are in your practice, and how well I know you is kind of where we're going to go from there.
Right.
But you've got just loving, supportive touches, and I'm not trying to deepen the pose for you at all. That might look like, rubbing your neck when you're in a forward fold. It might be just rubbing your spine when you're in child's pose. To me, my goal is not even to deepen the pose. It is not to change your pose at all.
Right.
It is just to let you know I'm here too. I know that this is hard, and I'm going to give you a little love along the way.
Right.
And then you've got assists that are meant to deepen the pose. I don't like using the word correct because I'm so big on
everybody's bodies are different.
Right or wrong. There is ways to get more out of it. And I actually love walking up to people, supine twist and half pigeon, that I will actually walk up and ask. I will say, do you feel much here anymore?
Right.
Like if you've been practicing for a while, supine twist, you're going to have to change it. Right. In order for you to get that feeling you used to get in the beginning. Same with pigeon. You're to get that same deepening, you're going to have to change this pose a little bit. Now, I could do that for you, or I can help you learn how to do it on your own. Either way, I'm going to ask you, do you want this? Do you feel anything here anymore? And when they say no, got you. Let's do it then. And so you can deepen someone's pose in ways that they may not can even do themselves.
Right. Like your forward fold.
Yeah. Yeah. I can pull myself down in a forward fold, and I can hug my knee, but I can only get so deep on my own.
Right.
There are just certain poses. Half pigeon is one of them. I love half pigeon. You know this. I melt into it. I have melted into the floor. I can only get so deep on my own.
Right.
And so to have someone come and get me a little bit further, it just is magical to me. I can't do that on my own. In child's pose, same thing.
About to say, yeah.
My hips are as far back as they're going to go. I can't.
Unless you're actively pressing yourself back. And even then, yeah.
I can't get as deep as I can as if someone comes and presses down on me. So, are they for everyone? I don't know. That's up to them to decide. Because I also believe in consent. So I don't touch people without their consent. Now, if you've been coming, you've given lifetime consent to me. I'm just kidding.
Until you take it away.
Until you take it away. But, I do those opt-out methods when you have someone new here so that I'm not touching someone who hasn't given me permission to touch them. I also think that's important, especially in the world that we live today, for all the reasons that we have listed. I don't want to contribute to unwanted touches.
Exactly.
In any way, even though I know there is no bad intent behind my touches, and I know I am there to be loving and supportive. I don't ever want to touch someone without their consent to do so.
And we don't know their journey. We don't know their journey. We don't know their story. We don't know where, what they've got going on. And I love how you talk about energy too, because sometimes I don't want to be touched because either I don't want to press it on to, I don't want to share that.
Yeah, energy transfer is real.
Or, I just need to be with myself today. But like that kind of comes down with communication. Whenever, hey, today I just need to be with me, but having that consent, I think by offering the choice in the very beginning, that opens up that line of communication and trust, the respect for every person individually. And I think it with just that, initially you are showing them like, hey, I care about what you think and where you are, and I want you to know that you are comfortable and safe with telling me yes or no, or hey, this is where I am at today, or this or that. And that's where a lot of unwanted comes from, is whenever we don't have that trust, we don't have respect or comfortability or that safety feeling, which I've always feel safe in here. always. I think it sometimes for me is just within myself. I might not feel safe, or I've got something going on in here, but it's nice knowing that I'm in a place where I can be like, oh, well, today, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it, man.
Yeah.
And it be okay. Because that's out in the world. You can even say that sometimes and it not matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's why I think that's a big thing whenever it comes to hands-on, because the hands-on assists, they're wonderful. I'm still nervous about doing them. I'm still figuring it out, learning, because I am uncomfortable even with people hugging me. So accepting my story and getting over it to be able to actually okay, not everybody's like me where they're uncomfortable with things. They actually want some hands-on assists, whether it's loving or deepening or learning, because hands-on assist is a learning process. I mean, you can learn so much from it. That's
how it's supposed to feel.
That's it. And it's nice to know that there is a space, and we see it all over the internet. I mean, people giving assist or showing how to do assist, so it's all over the world. But I guess it's sometimes in our own little minds, we think, oh, people don't want this, or, because I don't want it. That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Or for me, I never got to a point I didn't want them.
Right.
But I convinced myself that other people didn't. So it didn't even take me not wanting them and then thinking, well, that's how everyone thinks. I happened to live through a crazy time. The pandemic was a crazy time. And we all had to learn how to in different ways. And I happened to be a brand new yoga teacher when the pandemic hit. I mean, I was fairly new. I graduated in 2019 and it happened in 2020. So, March of 2020, I was teaching out of my home and I had to shut down. So I was teaching online for the people that were coming on a regular basis. And then we got to, reopen. I think we had to be shut down for 2 or 3 months before fitness places could reopen. And I never closed down again, but it definitely changed how I approach things and how it was received during that time.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, life went back to normal, but I didn't get the message as a yoga teacher that this is okay again.
Right.
I mean, it's not like I didn't give any. I gave very few. I stopped doing a lot of them and I missed them, and especially the ones where there are times that I can verbally cue something to someone 50,000 times.
Right.
And I've been the student, so I get it, because I've been the student where I'm like, I hear you and I'm doing what you're telling me.
I'm doing what you're saying. Yeah.
Until someone comes and actually moves me into, because I can't see my body. And then you come and move me into what you're telling me to do. And it's okay. And so I love deepening assist for that reason, because then you can work out and figure out how to do that on your own.
Right.
So there's, we talked about child's pose. There are just some things that it's just not going to happen without somebody else. I mean, we're at the point, I literally want you to sit on me.
Gravity can only do so much.
Yeah. I'm at a point now, I want all your weight on me. Yeah. I want it as deep as it can get. I physically cannot do that without another person.
Right.
And their weight.
Without other weight, yeah.
However, an opening of the shoulder and a spiraling through the rib cage, you could hear that all day long, but until you've experienced it, how do you learn how to find that on your own?
I remember mine.
So I've had someone come and do it, and it's and then I figured out how to do it on my own. So it's a way to get more out of the pose. And then some of them really are just a supportive, loving touch.
Right.
And I think, as women, we live in this world of, we're used to being consumed, as women, and we're viewed for pleasure and all of it, and it just feels icky. And so to come to a place where touch is not about consuming you in any way, it's not about desire, it's not any of those things, it's about love. It's about love and support. And I think we need more of that.
I think we need more of that as well. That's it, because it's safe. I mean, and that's what you say all the time. I mean, you that's what this place, this space is for. It is a safe space.
Yeah.
And I know I feel that way. And you can tell, because every time we ask, raise your hand,
no one raises their hand.
Raise your hand if you want to keep your practice to yourself today. And not yet have we seen someone raise their hand. And it's that trust. I think that it's that trust that they know everyone, male and female, whoever walks in. Whenever you come in here, you know that this is a place where you are safe and you are held, gently and with respect.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference, because sometimes you might not be getting that anywhere else, just like you're saying. I mean, this world is very wild, and you don't know really what anyone is going through in their life. You don't know how they grew up, and touch can be weird. But I mean, assists are helpful, in so many, just a loving, a learning. It doesn't have to, it's not, oh, well, you're doing this wrong.
Yeah.
Let me show you the right way.
Yeah.
It is, hey, you kind of look a little uncomfortable, maybe try this and see if not, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But, maybe just relax right here. And sometimes with words, I'm like, well,
I am relaxed.
I am. What do you mean?
Touches.
Release my shoulders from my ears. Or, I mean, there's so many. The rib cage one, man, that one, still, I do it so much more now. Because I remember you saying it when we were in teacher training, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I am open. And you're like, no, like
Spiral.
this. I was like, that is what you mean. Okay. Yeah. And it has changed my twists so much. And I never knew that I could go so deep, even by myself. I did not know that my spine was capable of twisting and wringing out all this, fried food that I've been eating. But
for me, it's never about correcting,
right?
Because you aren't wrong,
and you're
not
in alignment.
For me, it's never about correct. That's not my goal.
This is gone.
But I will say that it has stopped me from assisting people before. Because I have a fear that they're going to think I'm trying to correct them.
Right.
And that they don't want that. Because that is really not my intention ever. Just, I know you could be getting more out of that. You could be getting more benefits out of that. You could be feeling that more, especially people who have been practicing a long time. And then on the opposite spectrum of that, you have new people who don't know how to do a warrior one. They don't know. They're just looking at a shape and trying to replicate it the best that they can.
Right.
And sometimes a little bit of touch can go a long way of when I say this should move here.
Right.
This should come here. And just having someone kind of guide you into that can be really helpful. It's never about correcting for me.
Right.
Because to me, there's very, very few things that I think you could do wrong in yoga. And really, they're not even wrong, just that they could injure you over time.
Right.
By doing them, a certain way. And those are very few.
Right.
Very few for me, in my opinion. So I don't really care if you ever spiral your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Are you getting much of a twist? No. But that's on you.
Exactly.
It's not up to me how much you decide you want to get out of your practice. But if you want more, I'm here for it.
Right.
We can find
there
more.
is an option.
Yeah.
If you want it.
Yeah.
And we say that a lot.
Yeah.
It is there if you want it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's here for you on your mat.
Yeah.
Yoga just does that, and that's what I love so much about that weekend. It was hard touching people
all weekend.
I didn't mind it happening to me, which is so crazy. I'm not real sure about it just yet, but I don't mind receiving the assists. It is, I don't know why as a teacher I'm nervous to give the assist. I don't know if I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong. I don't know if it's, well, maybe they don't want me to touch them, because that's obvious. Everyone loves it every time, and they want it. They show that.
My guess would be that you have an internal dialogue that other people have the same dialogue you have.
Maybe. Probably.
So like you are fearful that people get uncomfortable when you touch them.
Yes.
Even though they all tell you, I loved it. Please keep doing it.
Do it again. Yeah.
Do it again. But it's just, that's something to work through,
right.
that, we make all these assumptions, and I'm guilty of that too. And so like when I've told people in this room how I convinced myself people didn't want, and they were like, you mean I've missed out all this time? I missed that because you thought I didn't want this? So that was the story I told myself.
Right.
And I had to work my way through it. Look, COVID was a wild time. Okay. I feel like that was its own era. It was just its own time. And
life kind of paused there for a moment.
It did.
Like, for about 2 years.
It really did. It changed how I viewed things at that time. And some of it just stuck with me.
Right.
The story, when you live through a time that you actually visibly saw people get uncomfortable when you walked too close to them.
Literally just to walk too close. Not like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. So, I really internalized that, and it's been really nice to get back to doing them.
Right.
And watching people that are receiving them enjoy it. And because like I said, I think we are starved for things like that.
Just in general. Just touch. And that's, I can sometimes it blows me away, like seeing people like hug each other like a lot. And I'm like, that is just wild to me.
I'm a hugger.
In my mind, me and my sister are the same. We're like, that's strange.
Yeah.
It's not. We're the strange ones. Not really. It's just different. We didn't grow up with it. So we're not, we have learned to live without it. But now the older that I'm getting, I realized we were kind of deprived in a way from something that does create. So what do they say? Like 20 seconds of a hug, like increases your endorphins or dopamine or something like that. Just a hug.
Yeah.
Just that amount of just physical connection with another human being. It doesn't say who it is. But just another person, just a 20-second hug. I don't know that Google it, but what it can do to spike your happiness.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not, why aren't we hugging everybody? You know?